Okay, I think the best way to get an interview, first of all, is to write to all and sundry. Sit down at your computer or your phone book or whatever and pick out your area where you want to work, but I wouldn't restrict that to Australia or any other country, but worldwide. And I just write to everybody. There are websites that you can go to that will recommend places to go to work, and Just Aviation happens to be one of them. And they have a pretty good selection of who's employing and who's not employing. And you should write fully and frankly, giving all your experience, etc. You can do it by email, which is an acceptable way these days, but I would always follow it up with a good old snail mail letter with your CV and with something, some document that really sells yourself, because that's what you've got to do. You've got to sell yourself, because you've got to think there's probably worldwide, there's literally thousands of pilots in the same position as you, with a license, with little experience, trying to get a job. So what you've got to do is try and make yourself better than all the rest. Now, it's no use making up things for that. You've got to sell yourself as what you are. Again, there are people that can coach you in this. Again, Just Aviation could help you in that way of who to write, not only who to write to, but how to write a good letter, or how to write a good email. But you've got to sell yourself. That's the main thing, and that's probably the biggest thing, is to sell yourself better than anybody else can sell themselves. You've got to be persistent. It's no use just writing off a letter and forgetting about it. You've got to follow up that letter. If you write by letter initially, follow it up with an email. Follow it up with a phone call. However, there is a fine line between being persistent and being annoying, and only you can make that decision how persistent you can be, depending on what feedback you get from the other end. Again, there's people that can give you advice on this thing. So write to everybody, sell yourself, be persistent, and keep looking. You've got to keep looking and keep writing. Don't give up, and just keep writing for weeks and weeks and weeks, months and years if necessary.